It's good, right? I caught my new fiance kissing our friend's husband in the basement. What do I do? Do you really need the answer to that, or are you just venting here, dude? Because it's like, obviously, you intellectually know that this isn't the right situation for you. Not only is she cheating on you, but she's also basically being a homewrecker and making out with a married man. And so she was like, what are you going to expect? Are you going to expect to actually marry this woman and expect she's not going to do the same thing that her husband's doing? She's not going to, as soon as things go bad, she's just going to go cheat on you, dude. Um, so I know it hurts. You're probably really invested. You've told all your friends, and now you have to tell them that, oh, she was cheating on me, and you feel horrible about yourself, and just emotionally, it's just going to mess you up, probably, unless you interpret it in a way that's growth oriented, which will be difficult, but it can be possible. But regardless, it's a really, really difficult thing to go through emotionally. You're probably in shock, but let's check out your post. Let's see what you're going through. So he's 34. He says, myself and my girlfriend, 31, have been together for 8 years, and that sucks too. Often you do see, like, once two people get engaged, she'll start to test more, or she'll do things because she's a little bit unsure about her decision to be with you because it's a huge commitment. And so she's going to test your strength. And in situations like this, if she never had any kind of prior experience with like cheating, and now she's doing this, like kissing somebody else, sometimes women do things to like initiate arguments so that they can end a relationship because they don't want to come out flat and say, hey, I don't like you and I don't want to get married to you. And so they create a situation where it's like there's no other option than to break up. Just the common thing I see. We just got engaged 2 weeks ago after having 3 children. Oh, Jesus. Owning a house and 2 cars. We're pretty established. Had a 4th of July party and got wild. Yeah, not in a good way from her standpoint. As the night progressed, our friends would leave. Her best friend left with her child and left her husband there because he had his own truck, and me and him always hang out. And it's like one of your best friends. Jesus. Later in the night, I watched them because more and more flirty as we drank. I got a vibe. After way too much to drink for anyone, the party was dwindling down, and we were in my garage and driveway. I watched my fiance grab this guy by the wrist and said, follow me to the basement. There's drinks down there. So I went along. No drinks down there. We're all out. So back to the garage. 10 minutes later, same thing. She wanted him to follow her. So I went along. No drinks again. Back to the garage. Third time they disappeared, and I waited about 3 minutes. I opened the door and finished the basement very quickly and went down the stairs, peered around the corner, and saw them very close to each other, standing and kissing, just lips. Shitty, dude. So how do you respond? I made a noise by mistake, drunkenly, and then separated like nothing was. And they separated like nothing was going on. She ran to the fridge looking for more drinks. I asked her what they were doing, and they said chatting and seeing if any more White Claw was in the fridge. He left after that without saying a word, and the party was over. Dude, you're done, man. It's over. You don't want to marry a woman like this, even though you got kids and stuff. That really complicates the thing, but it's like you don't want to get yourself now in a situation where now all your finances are involved in this too, and there's a marriage and there's a government involved, and you're getting into a relationship that's, I mean, very, very high likelihood of failing, her cheating on you again. You know, it sucks, but it's like you kind of owe it to yourself to just walk away and find that strength. And move on and really start over the best you can while still maintaining, some kind of relationship with your kids. It just sucks, but there's no really explanation or way around it, because it's like, well, now the trust is gone completely. And so if you got into a relationship, that's like trying to build a house with no foundation. Just like as soon as like a rain comes and you have no foundation, basically the floor is going to be all wet, and then there's going to be the landslide, and eventually the house will fall over, dude. So it's like, Yeah. So he says, anyway, when I asked her about it, she played dumb for about 10 minutes, then said she tried saying no. And yeah, that's such bullshit. It's like women do that too. It's like they try to blame the guy for situations where they initiate and they're like, oh, he made the first move and that was his fault, even though she's like suggesting and hinting and telling him to do that. And then she gives like no resistance whatsoever, but then says like, oh, it's his fault because he initiated. It's like bullshit. She was trying to talk her way out of it. Then said it was all him. Yeah, right. Then the next morning, she said she doesn't remember anything. I called him that night and asked what happened, trying to just figure out what I saw and not ruin the relationship. Dude, it's like, well, you're trying to save something that's not going to work. And at this point, you're really trying to save a fantasy of what's there and not looking at the reality of the situation. He blew up, called me crazy, saying I'm imagining everything. He told, yeah, usually when like huge emotional reactions like that, usually it's because it's like there's something to hide. Not always the case, but it's like usually huge emotional reactions, or the bigger the excuse, sometimes the bigger the lie. He told his wife that I imagined all this took place. His wife extended my fiance, basically calling me crazy and can't believe that I do something like that. Yeah, because it's like they don't want to face this reality either. And she's on her side and asking she is the fiance's okay. I feel crazy and I don't know what to do. Any advice? Ditch, dude. So I saw you with my own two eyes. I don't know what you're talking about. And frankly, I can't put up with that. And so you can get your bags, start packing up, and get out of my house. Unless you want to continue on this relationship and then let her completely walk all over you and then treat you like you're crazy and treat you with no respect, and then set an example to the kids that that she can basically just walk all over you, and then that you have basically no value, and then your kids start to devalue you, and it's just like you owe it to yourself just to walk away, even though that's really gonna hurt. But you can start over for sure. What was it? You're in your mid-30s. You got time, dude. Understand that, especially when you get your career going, that her kind of, I guess you call it like a sexual marketplace value is dropping because she's in her 30s. It's like her looks sometimes start to fade at that point, whereas your success often starts to increase. And so it's like you got options where she might not have as many, or it's declining where yours are increasing. So understand that, and use this pain to really motivate yourself to learn about relationships and start new, and get better than you were before, both with your own self, your self-esteem, your skills, but also find somebody that's better than that, that's not going to cheat on you, that's loyal to you, that you can trust.